This is the City of San Fernando Education Commission regular meeting for Tuesday, March 25th at 4:30 PM. We start with roll call.
Good evening, Commission. Let's start with the roll call. Chair Angel Zobel Rodriguez,
Present.
Vice Chair David Govea, Commissioner Laurel Rodriguez,
Present.
Commissioner Sonia Navarro,
Present.
Commissioner Marcela Rodriguez.
And all members are present. We do not have a need for teleconference. Next up is the Pledge of Allegiance led by Vice Chair David Govea.
Stand. Right hand over your heart. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated.
Thank you. Next up, I need a motion to approve the agenda.
I will put a motion forward to approve the agenda.
Second.
Thank you.
And we're doing roll call. Chair Angel Zobel Rodriguez.
Yes.
Vice Chair David Govea,
Yes.
Commissioner Laurel Rodriguez,
Yes.
Commissioner Sonia Navarro,
Yes.
Commissioner Marcela Rodriguez.
And that is unanimous, 5-0. All right, next up we have presentations. We want to welcome and introduce our newest Education Commissioner, Marcela Rodriguez. Marcela has been sworn in, so we want to give you just a very brief chance to give yourself share some information about yourself with the commission.
Hi, everybody. My name is Marcela Rodriguez. I'm feeling a little nervous. Sorry, I wanna talk too much, but I'm be here to chance and try to work together for the community and students. Thank you.
Well, welcome, and does anybody have any questions? We're very happy to have you here, so
Thank you.
welcome. Next up, we have the fiscal year 2025-26 budget calendar presented by Erica Melton, the City of San Fernando Director of Administrative Services.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Erica Melton. I am, again, Director of Administrative Services, and it is that wonderful time of the year where we're getting ready to kick off our budget process. Part of the reason that I attend the commission meetings is because our goal is to make sure that the community is as much a part of this conversation as possible, and we want to provide as many avenues as possible because, of course, our goal is to build a better community, and a better San Fernando involves the input of as many of its residents, business community members, and variety of stakeholders as possible. Ultimately, the budget is the city's priorities with price tags, so we want to make sure that we have shared understanding of what those priorities are as we move into funding and investing in those initiatives. So with that, I'll begin. I am going to do an abbreviated version because certainly in looking at your agenda tonight, I want to ensure that the commission has an opportunity to get to the business at hand. So in some cases, I'll reference additional resources that are available throughout the city's website in order to ensure that there's sufficient time available for the commission to get to its other business. So with that, I'll begin. As we build into the future, we want to ensure that we, again, have shared understanding of the lens in which we're operating. And we're entering into this year's budget season with a very conscientious view of the economy, as we don't want to repeat some of the fiscal issues of the past. And part of the reason that I highlight that is because, of course, it was just 20 years ago in 2005 that the city's general fund position was greatly impacted by economic factors that greatly challenged the city's continuation. What I mean by that is, as you look on the illustration before you, there was a significant drop in the city's general fund balance, and with that, the city's reserves fell from 7.1 million in June of 2006 to a deficit of $5.7 million by June of 2014. That dramatic reduction was the result of a perfect storm as the city's expenditures on operating services began to increase, just as the onset of the Great Recession occurred in 2008-9, which decreased the city's tax revenue base. And like most cities, the Great Recession negatively impacted the city's finances through our sales tax, business tax, and property tax, and I'll be able to illustrate that a little bit more clearly in some subsequent slides. In response, okay, it's because my chair keeps shifting down, so give me 1 second,
Oh,
and
no,
I'm gonna
no
switch
worries.
chair. That's what you're hearing, because every time it shifts, it
Yes,
impacts
no.
the microphone, so give me
No
1
worries.
second. I'm like, why am I getting shorter?
So at the next city council meeting, we'll figure out who had that chair by who keeps falling
Oh
down
my
during the
gosh,
meeting.
it was, dude, it was hilarious. Okay. In response to this financial turmoil, through tough decisions that leadership had to make at that time, a fiscal emergency was declared, which led to the ballot approval of Measure A, which was a half-cent sales tax measure at the time. The city also took some drastic strategic direction in terms of creating a deficit reduction elimination plan, which reduced staffing levels. The goal was to also renegotiate a number of internal contracts, including personnel MOUs. It reduced, in many cases, again, personnel levels as well as benefit levels. Uh, Renegotiation of external contracts, including with the Los Angeles Fire Department. We renegotiated that contract. And a number of surplus property was sold off in order to, again, stop the bleeding at the time. The remaining staff had to continue to provide services to the community, but was now doing much more with less as the sole focus of the city became financial solvency. Um, the transaction tax went into effect of October of 2013, but with an initial sunset of October 2020. I will highlight that, like many cities, again, once you have a transaction tax in place, it's very unlikely that it's removed. And so in the city's case, I'm very proud of the fact that in November 2018, that sunset was eliminated and extended indefinitely by the voters. But in addition to that, in order to top and reach the cap and the limit of our sales and transaction tax limit, the city also opted to increase that transaction tax, which is now 0.75%. And without the revenues generated through those local transaction tax measures, the city would have struggled to operate and carry out its financial commitments, obligations, and objectives. I do want to highlight really quickly too, because of course that sales and transaction tax, in terms of what it means, of course, everyone who shops in the city, when you get a receipt, a number of your goods, supplies, again, they're taxed at that rate. And the city's total tax rate is 10 and a quarter. But of that, I want to put it into perspective, and that's the reason that I also have that little donut illustration up there, is because for every dollar in sales tax paid to San Fernando, the city still only receives about 17 cents of that. And what I mean by that is that state and county initiatives receive the other 83 cents. And as you see above, the state of California receives 6 cents. LA County Transit gets about 2 and a quarter. LA County Homeless Initiative, and I actually need to increase that, that's 0.25%. And then finally, again, the city receives that 1.75%. And that's important to understand because, again, we only get 17 cents back of that. So again, glad that we're able to get at least some of that returning back to the city. All right, so that was the past. The result of the subsequent local transaction tax adoptions and sound financial decision-making has positioned the city to meet service delivery objectives in many of the priority areas voiced by its stakeholders subsequent to it. And what I mean by that is since October of 2013, that local transaction tax have generated about $36 million over the last, again, now 12 years for the city. And we're projected to raise approximately $5 million annually. So again, that stopped that bleeding, that stopped a lot of, again, that deficit that was occurring. And actually, I'll show it in a subsequent slide, but it's allowed us to add positions to the city to ensure staffing levels are available to be reactive to many of the city's priorities. This graph concurrently demonstrates the history of positions as well as personnel cost, as significant investment has been made to service the San Fernando community. And as of 2025, our staffing levels are at about 150 full-time equivalents now. And again, the goal was to meet, again, the service level requirements of the city as citizens, our business community, again, in order to meet many of those needs. As a result, again, I spoke earlier about at fiscal year 2014, we had a deficit of $5.7 million. Well, we now, as of our audited financials as of June 30th, 2024, have a positive fund balance of $10,988,000. So again, in a much better position. And again, that is the result of sound fiscal decision-making. So that, again, the city's in a position that if there are additional economic downturns, we're able to better weather the tide. I do at this point want to highlight that I would have shown our 2024 report, which highlights some of the achievements even within the past year, as the city has been able to demonstrate a number of advancements. And while a picture, certainly while this illustration in numbers depicts one aspect of it, certainly a picture or video speaks 1,000 words much more. And so with that, I do want to direct, we won't do it in here because it is an 8.5-minute video. And certainly, again, I don't want to take away time from the business of this commission today, but I do want to direct everyone's attention that on the city's website, on the main page, there is a video of the 2024 annual accomplishments of the city. And I do encourage both this commission as well as those who are watching to view that because, again, sometimes we have a little bit of tunnel vision in terms of the latest and greatest issue that happens within the city. That latest and greatest complaint that we have or grievance or even that current success that we have. But it's really cool to see 365 days worth of issues being resolved, 365 days of accomplishments being achieved for the city. And when you look at it in the aggregate, it really speaks volumes to what we can accomplish when we have that constant feedback loop in terms of citizens, community members communicating to the directors, to the city manager, through the commissions, what the needs are of our community and how neat it is once you see how we're able to respond to it. So again, I encourage everyone to view that 2024 annual report video, which again is available right on the city's website. So my primary goal of today is to help start the conversation about how we're going to build into the future, how we're going to continue to build a better San Fernando. And again, the budget development process allows us to look ahead and start building that process together as we're able to identify, again, those key shared priorities. And as an individual who values the education that I received, I remember that old adage, good, better, best. Never let it rest till your good is your better and your better is your best. And so our goal is, we certainly know what our good is as a city, but we want to continue to build upon that so that we can become better and then the best San Fernando as possible. And the only way that we'll all be able to achieve that together is to constantly communicate. What are those shared initiatives? What are those shared priorities? And I want to also use this as an opportunity to state that certainly we want to make 25,000 residents happy, but it's not an easy feat, and especially in the year ahead as we take this conscientious approach on account of the ever-changing economic environment, because our objective is simultaneously not to repeat the city's history in the past, what occurred 20 years ago, especially as we're looking at what's happening in the economic environment. So how can we ensure now that we have expanded our expenditures to still, again, be very conscientious and very conservative in our approach in terms of revenue on account of the fact that we're not sure where the economy is going right now. So again, I just want to take that very cautious lens as we move forward. The reason that I state that is that the city's top 5 revenue categories are still sales tax, property taxes, vehicle license fees, charges for service, and business license. Those top 5 categories account for 84% of the city's total revenue, okay? So of the $28 million that we received, 84% of that is accounted for within those 5 categories. And of those 5 categories, sales tax and business licenses are about 51% of the overall budget. So 14 million we receive from revenues that are extremely sensitive to changes in economic conditions. And right now, again, there's a lot of uncertainty with shifts in our federal economic policy. So with that, we're working very closely over the next fiscal year in a variety of ways, as projecting is more of an art than a science. And so we're paying attention to all of the economic reports, both at the federal level, at the state level, in order to make sure we understand the impact on our local economy as well. And so as of right now, we are projecting and aiming to at least remain flat rather than expanding, again, out of an abundance of caution. However, I will also state that our goal is to provide more economic and more financial updates and reporting to the city council. And so right now we do so on a mid-year and end-of-year basis, but our goal is to provide more quarterly updates on an intermittent basis so that as the economy changes, we're able to be a little bit more a little bit more proactive than reactive as the economy either hopefully shifts in a more positive direction. But for right now, again, the goal is how can we take a very cautious approach with an understanding of the fact that uncertainty looms right now. We also say that again, because if you look at, and again, our budget is akin to most in the public sector as well as the private sector in terms of the fact that over 60% of our budget is personnel costs. So it's fixed costs in terms of making sure that we're able to pay those employees who are, again, being responsive to the needs of the community. The second category is contractual services, which again is a fixed cost. These are contracts that we have negotiated and that we usually have multi-year agreements. So again, that's a part of the fixed costs for the city. And then finally, our internal service funds, which is our self-insurance fund, equipment replacement and maintenance funds, as well as our facilities maintenance funds. So historically, that only leaves about 5 to 7% remaining for discretionary use, which historically has been used for, again, our department operational expenses, which include things like IT services, IT subscriptions, some of the, even some of the supplies, professional development and training. Those are the things that it's typically used for, with the remaining, if whatever that remaining balance is listed as surplus, which we then use for enhancements or investments in additional initiatives. I know last year we used it to fund, we did use a portion of it to fund some citywide events to make sure that in the event that we don't have sponsorships for a number of our events, we wanted to make sure that those events still continued in the city. We wanted to make sure we had a planning manager in the community development department so that we could ensure that a lot of our building planning initiatives are moving forward. There were a number of investments that were made last year, some of which were ongoing, some were one time, but the objective was to make sure, again, that we invested in the community. But in terms of what those investments levels will look like this year, we're likely going to have to do more with less this upcoming year. And so the goal is, just like any household, if I have $100, what's the best use or what's the most important use for those funds? I can't do everything, but I can do some things. And so I want to make sure that of those some things that I do, that they are the things that will maximize the outcome within the community. So with that, in terms of how we'll go about the budget development process, similar to last year's presentation, the goal is we start usually with a strategic goal and study session with council. That was held this year on February 24th, and I'll go over some of the priorities that they've identified, because the goal is to have those community conversations so that we can ensure that we got the top priorities right. to continue the dialogue over the course of the budget process so that as we talk about those 10 priorities, to make sure that we're strategizing within those priorities to hit those very important and key areas from the community. And so the way that we'll do that is through, we had our transaction tax town hall meeting last night, and I thank you for those who already viewed it. We had a number of people who were on YouTube. The chair of the commission included, who provided some comments online. We had several people who were right here in the chambers with us, but the goal is to continue that dialogue and get additional feedback. We have our community survey that is online, which is another avenue for feedback. And even, again, my goal is to attend all of the commission meetings so that, again, that becomes, again, another avenue. And then finally, as we continue putting the proposed budget together, the goal is through that process, we have several study sessions that we will make available for public, again, feedback and interaction and input. So in terms of the budget priorities that were identified by the City Council, again, our goal was to get the top 10 so that we could maximize through this budget process. Again, hitting as many areas as we can. And some of the top priorities that were identified were addressing parking challenges, enhancing police patrol coverage and effectiveness, citywide recruitment, retention, and morale, beautification and fixing broken windows. And what they meant by that were opportunities to beautify things within the public right-of-way. That includes our sidewalks, that includes planters throughout the city, but making sure that we address things that are considered, again, broken windows in the community, even graffiti, so that the notion is of calling it broken windows because if you see something broken in the community, it usually facilitates where people want to come in and do more damage, as opposed to if you have a beautiful right-of-way, then people, again, will hopefully do things in order to make sure that it stays that way. Park seating and gathering spaces was identified. Crime prevention and deterrence, homelessness services, supporting our local business community, continuing updates and reporting to City Council, and finally, revitalizing the Cindy Montañez Park. Again, the objective over the course of the budget development process is to ensure that we got those priorities and strategies correct. And the way that we want to do that is through a number of opportunities for outreach. Again, beginning with some of the town hall meetings that we're having, as well as, again, attendance at all of the commission meetings in order to get as much input as possible. In terms of the timeline for the budget process, the goal is for us to have a proposed budget by May 5th. So within the next 5 weeks, we'll take all of that information, we'll take all of that feedback, and we'll put it into numbers. And we'll be able to present that to the public and then solicit additional feedback through the budget study session process, which currently we have 4 study sessions slated, beginning in May, on May 19th through June 2nd, and hopefully concluding with an adopted budget by June 16th. So again, it's not a one-stop shop process, but again, opportunities for multiple sessions of feedback. And then immediately following the distribution and posting of the proposed budget, we'll additionally have a proposed budget virtual town hall, which will be provided online, so that, again, we can show what those priorities look like with those price tags, and, again, solicit additional feedback as we go into the study session process. Other ways that we'll be continuing the conversation include through the My San Fernando app, which we hope everyone has downloaded, because that gives us real-time feedback in terms of some of the issues within the community. In addition, it allows us to have data as we seek to improve certain issues in the community over time. So the goal is for us to have a very data-driven approach as we're developing what the priorities are for the community, in addition to the community survey, which we hope everyone has taken, but it is still open as we continue to collect data and feedback from the community. That concludes my presentation, and I welcome your questions.
Thank you. I'm going to use first names because now that we are a commission of 3 Rodriguez's, I- Commissioner Laurel, do you have any questions?
Commissioner, is your microphone on? I just want to make sure. Oh, no worries. I just want the public to be able to hear you as
Sure.
well.
Thank you. FTE, what does that stand for?
Sure, and thank you, because one of the things that we oftentimes do from these seats is use acronyms, and I do apologize for that, but that is full-time equivalent position. So in some
Okay.
cases, it's part-time that's converted into hours, and so it's the number of employees throughout the city.
Okay, that's what Google said. All right, my second question is, you talked about an uncertain economic future. Are there any thoughts, let's say that people's, for example, federal income is interrupted somehow? Are there thoughts or plans for forming some kind of mutual aid contingency? I know during COVID, some of the businesses formed food pantries.
Right now, we're certainly, as a city, taking a day-by-day approach to evaluating the economic climate. In terms of how we'll address that, that's exactly what the budget development process is intended to do, so that as recommendations are brought forward, policies can be recommended certainly to the council, and the council, of course, is the final policy decision-making body. And so in terms of how we will address as some of those economic policies are made at the federal level, as they filter down to the local level, again, we'll be using the budget development process initially to determine how to devote resources to them. So again, that's one of the reasons that we welcome everyone into the process, because again, it's changing on a day-to-day basis. Certainly what we thought was going to happen on January 1st has changed to what is occurring as of March 25th, and even as of March 5th, when we provide the proposed budget, all the way to June 16th when we adopt it. We again know that things may change. And so again, that's one of the reasons that we're having a number of sessions, so that we can have a number of conversations along the way.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Marcella?
Yes, I have one question. When you're talking about the replace the windows, the city of San Fernando has budget for replace the windows when the people is damaged with the crime?
What we mean by broken windows, and that's why we put it as a parenthetical, is
Okay.
because it's not just windows, it's just all of the public facility managed resources of the city. We want to make sure that everything is beautiful. Windows, in addition to, again, everything from our streets to our sidewalks. So the goal is for us to have resources in place in order to maximize as many opportunities to remedy, fix, keep up, the upkeep of all of our facilities and right-of-way as possible. So anything within the public view and under the city's, within the city's resources, we want to make sure that we're making it as beautiful as possible and restoring on a ongoing basis.
Okay, thank you for your clarification.
Commissioner Sonia?
Hi, thank you for the presentation. Yeah, I maybe modified the broken windows because it's a theoretical model. So it's kind of hard for people that speak other languages, or they won't understand it necessarily because it's a theoretical. So it's just easier to just say, we're going to upkeep and do crime prevention. That would be easier for people to understand. But I guess my comment is more on the park spaces. What kind of upkeeps or upgrades? And I guess, is any of this going to still stay in place if if the economy is going to shift? Not necessarily, not just the economy, because the economy is having some issues, but also the federal government spending. So what are the contingency plans, I guess? Or would that be in the presentation as well that you guys held yesterday?
The objective through the budget process, because we have not developed strategies to address these top 10 items as of yet, but through the budget process, that's the objective. So as the economy changes in terms of the ways that we address and the volume of areas that we'll be able to address, they may constrict and change and be reduced. However, the objective right now is through the budget process for us to get feedback, number one, in terms of how to, but certainly through even the departments as they present the budget to us in terms of what their recommendations are. The goal is to create opportunities to invest in particular in these top 10 areas. So in terms of the what, it hasn't been developed yet, but it will throughout this process. And I also want to highlight that thank you for your feedback on that, and we'll certainly update the language on that so that it's clearer.
Vice Chair?
Yeah, thank you so much again for the presentation. On our last financial crisis that we had as a city, you mentioned that it was like a perfect storm of conditions. Given that there may be a potential downturn in the future, those conditions aren't present anymore? Or are there different conditions that we need to be exploring? Because it makes me a little nervous to see those numbers. And yeah, so
Makes me nervous to
I
see
bet- I
those
bet, yeah,
numbers
yeah,
too.
yeah.
And that's part of the reason that, again, in terms of the strategies that we want to, again, be very conservative about upfront in terms of forecasting the revenue. And then secondarily, again, that's one of the reasons that we want to have additional reporting instead of it just being, again, mid-year, end of year. We're going to be doing quarterly reporting so that we're monitoring so that, again, by the time, if that storm does happen, it's a matter of us, again, we've been discussing it as opposed to merely reacting to it at the time. So that's one of the strategies that we're having right now. And again, our goal is just to closely monitor because again, every day we're not sure. But I will say that certainly, again, your concern is shared at all levels. And again, that's one of the reasons that, again, we're taking a very conscientious approach to this for right now as we evaluate and we seek the feedback of, again, some of the very, very smart economists who are looking at it on a day-to-day basis in terms of what it means and then how it will trickle down to our local levels.
I did watch it last night, and when the 10 priorities were up there, I was trying to figure out where more opportunities for youth would be included in there. And I know one of the things that the city has entertained in the past and may not be able to swing right now is first and last mile is active mobility. We have students have free passes to Metrolink and Metro, but if we're talking about difficulty with parking, part of the reason there's difficulty with parking is to get to where the metros are, you need to have some kind of vehicle. My daughter has to drive to the San Fernando Silmar station because it's just kind of far if you're trying to leave early in the morning. It wouldn't resolve all of the parking, but if we can look at additional partnerships or information to provide first and last mile. I know we have a beautiful bike path now that goes along the river, and I know we have, or along the wash, and the other bike path needs a little bit of help. And I know that that may be not this year because of the downturn, but I will keep bringing that up because I do walk those paths, and it's beautiful to walk the brand new bike path. But what was the beautiful bike path when I was on transportation is now, oh, it's showing its age. So if there's a way to fix parking by providing other alternatives, not everybody's going to give up their car, but I don't drive very often anymore because I insist on walking in my city. I would love to see more people have that opportunity. So I didn't mention that in the comments last night, so it's not a double, but that's my feedback.
Thank you so much. I'll certainly document that. And certainly if there's opportunities, even within existing resources, or if there's other things that are occurring, I do know that there are certain Metro grants that are being applied for by the city currently. I certainly appreciate you lifting up additional partnerships because that's one of the city's goals is, yes, while we're taking on a number of these initiatives, there are other entities with shared interests that will allow us to navigate through their fiscal processes. And so we'll be taking up those as often as possible to apply for grants and to partner with other agencies. And so certainly in those instances, we'll be able to report back even to this commission, and as well as uplift that throughout the process, because even though that may not be addressed directly through the general fund process, certainly as we have other funding opportunities or measures that might fund certain things, again, we'll lift that up. Thank you.
Thank you. Everybody good? Thank you so much.
Thank you all for
Really,
having me.
we really appreciate, I promise we will all watch the video. Okay. And then next up, we have presentation by Titus Campos, the LAUSD Regional Director.
Good afternoon, Commissioners, and congratulations to our newest Commissioner, Mr. Rodriguez. Pleasure to be here representing Dr. Baca, our Superintendent from Region North. And from the last meeting, there were a couple of items that I brought forth today and one new item. And so I did share a presentation with you, and I'll start with the instructional calendar that was adopted by our Board of Education. And you also, I believe, are getting a hard copy of that that you can follow along. It is hyperlinked in your presentation. And this instructional calendar was adopted for the next 3 years. So we can see the first day of instruction for the next 3 years, starting with 2025-26. We can see that there is a 1-week Thanksgiving break, a 3-week winter break, and also a 5-day winter recess academy for those families that want to partake in that option, and also a 1-week spring break, and finally the last day of instruction. And you can see that for the next 3 years through 2027, 2028. Know that there was lots of opportunities for stakeholders to share their input on the adoption of these calendars. There was a survey for students, families, and employees that was open from October 8th through the 21st. And thousands of participants gave their feedback. And you can see that it does have 180 instructional days that are more balanced in the semesters in these calendars. Any questions about the instructional calendar? Okay. Moving on, you had asked about the Spring Academy at the last meeting, and so these are the 3 schools in San Fernando that will be offering the Spring Academy. That will take place April 14th and 15th, O'Malveny Elementary, SFIM, and San Fernando High School. So this is a locally designed intervention program, an enrichment program, and that meets the needs of the specific students attending these schools. And again, it's optional for those families that wish for the students to participate in this Spring Academy. Also promised to share some information on the state assessment, the SBAC. And so big shout out to our Office of Data and Accountability for putting these slides together. Know that I'll be sharing information as an overview of LAUSD, but on the ELA results overview, there is an image of the California School Dashboard, and that's hyperlinked where any schools throughout the state, public schools could be, you just type in the name of the school and the district, and the information will pop up with all the metrics. Want to share some of the highlights in English language arts and reading. We can see that our distance from standard, on average, students scored 24.33 points below the threshold for reaching the standard met, and this was an increase of 4.09 points from the previous year, 2022-23. Also, we noticed that all grades improved their distance from standard scores compared to the prior year. That's including grades 3 through 8 and grade 11 in high school. And we also can see that the student groups with the greatest improvement in English language arts, distance from standard, are English learners, going up 14.35%. Our low-income students went up 5.4, and students with disabilities 5.07. And there's also some notes on achievement levels. And if we go to the next slide, you could see it broken down by grade levels with comparison from distance from standard from 2023-24 to 2022-23. And so you can see, for instance, I'll just point out a couple of grade levels. In grade 3, there was a 3.48% increase. And in grade 6, there was a 6.41 increase. And you could also see the percentages on the right side of this graph demonstrating the number of students meeting or exceeding the standard and the changes. And we can see that the largest change was in 6th grade at 2.93%. And on the next slide, there you can peruse at your convenience, but you can see the different subgroups: students with disabilities, English learners, low-income, foster, Latinx students, and Black students. And you can see the change. And so all students collectively went up 4.09% from distance from standard. There was a 4.09 increase and also 1.89% increase. And so there's a graph on the next page, and this is really exciting. So on the left side, it shows a percent of students meeting or exceeding the standard. And at the bottom, you see the school year. So there's a gap with during COVID where the students did not take the assessment. But the top line represents the statewide average, and the bottom, the Los Angeles Unified School District. So you can see in 23-24 that we are closing that achievement gap compared to the state. So 43.1% in ELA achievement, and the state's at 47%. So we're moving in the right direction. The next section contains results for math achievement. And again, we can see that on average, our students scored negative 6.94 points below the threshold for reaching the standard met. And we can see that all grade levels went up. And a big the headline on this is that LAUSD's rate of improvement outpaced the statewide trend by 2.5 times. So we can see that all grades improved their distance from standard scores compared to the previous year, 2023-24, and that the distance from standard for grade 5 is closer to proficiency than prior to the pandemic. And we also see that the student groups with the greatest improvement in ELA DFS are English learners, low income, and also students with disabilities. And so again, on the next slide, we can see the specific grade levels with the math results as a summary and showing the distance from standard from the previous year, the change, and we see that grade 5 had an increase of 9.31, grade 8, 11.80, and then you see the percentage of students meeting or exceeding standard on the right side, and you could see those respective increases. And just like we had in ELA, you can see on the next slide the different subgroups and their achievement levels. And finally, there's a slide that shows a plot with the also demonstrating that we're getting closer to closing that achievement gap, with the Los Angeles Unified School District being on the lower side, the red line, and the state average at the top. So 35.5 with math achievement overall at the state level, and we're at 32.8. And so with that, I'll pause and see if there are any questions for you.
Laurel, do you have any questions?
I don't know how to phrase this, and maybe you don't have it. When people dive into these test scores, do they analyze subgroups over time?
Yes.
Reason I'm asking is that I noticed that kids in the foster system are probably are the farthest distance from the standard. Do you know whether that population is, because my first thought is instability. And if a child is not stable, they can't really process to learn. Is that population increasing, static, decreasing?
So yeah, so we do monitor their achievement levels and provide lots of resources. So I can think of different human capital that we provide, as well as other resources to support that student population. And as you can see in the ELA results, the foster youth did increase in ELA by 2.32% overall, and in math by 5.89%. So there was a larger gain in math.
Correct. I was just wondering about the population. But nobody's looked at that, like whether more students are becoming foster.
Oh, I see. Are you
That's-
asking like if that
Yes,
number
like
is
is
increasing
the
the overall?
population
Oh, that
increasing?
I can certainly research that and bring back that
It
information.
would be interesting to know because, it all depends on the stability of a society and,
I can get that information
okay,
researched.
thank you. I'd just be interested. Thank you.
Stella, go ahead.
I have one question. And when you present this right now, can I see in the region or only in Lius did and the web? Or where can I find in all these results?
Yeah, so on slide 1, 2, 3, 4, on slide 5, it is hyperlinked that image below under where it says ELA results overview, the California School Dashboard. So
Okay.
if you click on that, it'll take you to the California Department of Education website where you could type in any school name. So you could type in, San Fernando High School, and it'll pop up, and you could see all the data for that specific school by different years as well. So yeah, that's hyperlinked right there.
Other thing, when you say DFS, what is the words when you say specific?
So the distance from standard is it's this line where we want to get our students to reach that line, right? So if I say that we're 25 points below the distance from standard, that means that our goal is to get to that line
The
and,
left.
and beyond. And so we do have schools who are below the distance from standard, that line in the sand, and we also have schools that are above the distance from standard. And so, so our goal is to have our students meet that threshold and even go higher.
Do you have in the future something to help to the students at this moment? It's very hard to families about happen in the community for immigration, and the district has support the students at the schools.
Yeah, so we recently had a town hall meeting at Sylmar High School and invited all the families in Region North, including all the families in San Fernando. And it was at Sylmar High School at like 5 o'clock in the evening. And it's called it's part of our We Are One campaign. But we do have a lot of different resources available. I think I shared that website
Mhm.
with this commission. I think you weren't here last time, but it was shared. I can certainly get it to you. And it's available in different languages, English, Spanish, other languages. And there's resources, for example, a plan on what happens if, what's the contingency plan if a parent is, is deported or detained, who could who should be contacted. And so there's templates like that for use and a lot of different resources. And some of the community resources, we're invited to Sylmar High School for that evening, but we hope to have others in the future.
Thank you.
Can I follow up? Distance from the standard, can you define the standard? I know the last time I taught, the categories were basic, above basic, far below basic. What is the standard we're shooting for? Is it a percentage?
I can certainly come back and spend more time digesting. I know you have a jam-packed agenda today, but I can certainly do like a part 2 and go. It seems like that's a trend that's coming up with questions about DFS.
Yeah.
So I'd like to do it justice and spend a lot more time diving deeper into that topic, but I'll make note of that and prepare some,
Thank you.
go into more depth on that.
Okay, thank you.
Do you have any questions?
It's just a comment. I think it's good that I know the scores seem to have gone up, even though they seem kind of low the way you wrote it. So congratulations on the district on having all these academies. I think they've made an impact based on where we were scoring the scholarships. So a lot of students have taken advantage of a lot of the resources that LAUSD has provided. So congratulations on that. That's it.
Thank you so much, it's partnerships like, City of San Fernando, you also offer a lot of enrichment opportunities, and I think it's taking those opportunities and leveraging them together, collaborating together, and that's going to eventually impact student learning and student achievement. So thank you for being great partners.
I just want to appreciate the instructional calendar. As a Region North parent, it's really helpful to have a 3-year plan onto when the start and the end date's going to be, spring break, all that.
Absolutely.
It's very, very helpful, so thank you.
Yeah, I don't have any other questions because he just took mine, because all the years my kids were in school, waiting for the calendar becomes the biggest nerve-wracking thing. And to have 3 years in plan, whether you like it or you don't, it's 3 years out, and that's fantastic. So kudos to the school board for finding the way to do that. Thank you. All right, next up we have decorum and order. It is in the packet. No, I'm sorry. We didn't have a presentation from Kelly, right? Okay. Yes, so yes, there's no presentation today. So next up is decorum and order, and then next up we have public statements.
And we do have a public statement from Maria Luisa Palma.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Maria Luisa Palma. I am here representing, speaking for Red de Padres por la Seguridad Escolar, is a parent group. I am here to discuss the safety crisis at LA Unified Schools. Kelly Gonas was elected to represent the residents of her district, this district, yet she continues to vote and make decisions in direct opposition to what this community has been asking for, and therefore putting the lives and future of our youth at risk. Now, I sent you an email this afternoon. I think it came too late to be included, but I have a copy of it here with detailed information of certain votes that have happened, which Ms. Gonas has voted on historically, and also results of a survey that was put out by the district in 2020 about safety and about the school police. 64% of parents said yes to the question, do you feel that having school police on your campus makes your school safe? 59% of staff also agreed with that statement. And yet Ms. Gonas voted in 2021 to remove the school police from campuses. Now, I have come to you before and brought you some of those incidents, as well as the city council. We also have at the district something called the Safe Schools Task Force. Last year, and also this year, I was at their meeting last evening. Both of those meetings, last year and last night, are making a recommendation to the Board of Education to allow every school to independently select if they want to have school police on their campuses. So originally, when school police was designed, it was to protect students. That's still the concept, to keep crime and gangs out of schools. Right now, we have drug use and drug sales happening inside our schools. My son was in high school. I would hear it from him all the time. I hear it from lots of parents. Yet right now, our school police department only patrols outside. So the parents that we are talking to we have over 4,000 parent signatures in a petition. They want school police inside of the campuses assigned. We're looking for prevention. We're looking for academic improvement in a safe campus. What you saw in the presentation before is that only 43% of students meet or exceed the standard in English language, and only 32% of students meet or exceed the standards in math. Overall, those results are still very low. We're still below state averages. Right now, we don't have prevention. We can only get a school police officer in a campus in only a few days and only after a significant incident has occurred. This is a reactionary model. So in the information I emailed to everyone, we are spending lots of money, $424 million last school year on counseling and everything around safety. Only 58 million of that goes towards school police officers. We have lots of incident reporting that we still can't get more information on. We've requested it, but our enrollment overall at the district continues to go down. And that's the biggest threat to ongoing financial solvency of the district. So knowing these facts and how parents feel, what is it that you can do about it? You here on this commission, are you going to help Ms. Gones to continue to hide the incidents, because that's what's happening? We've requested the data, we can't get it, and continue to sweep all of this information under the rug? How is it that she's going to be held responsible for her actions, for her decisions, her votes? So please, we would love to have your support on this parent initiative to at least bring Ms. Gones here to talk to everyone publicly at the full city council, to speak to the public about what is going on. So I'll leave a copy of the email here. There are a lot of attachments, a lot of information that's available on a Google Drive for you to review in detail. And we can come to present. I'm part of a parent group. I can bring you lots of presentations from a parent perspective. I've presented at the school district, at committees before. So if you want to hear what parents think, we can bring that to you here. Be very happy to do so. Thank you. Good evening.
Thank you. Next up, we have consent calendar.
Move to approve the consent calendar.
Second.
Roll call. Chair Angel Zobel Rodriguez.
Yes.
Vice Chair David Govea.
Yes.
Commissioner Laurel Rodriguez.
Yes.
Commissioner Sonia Navarro.
Yes.
Commissioner Marcela Rodriguez.
Yes.
Thank you. Next up, we have administrative reports, starting with discussion and selection of this April Student of the Month.
Thank you, Ramir. Hi, everybody. Nice to see you guys again. So we are in our second to last Student of the Month award and presentation. We have our April, and then May and June are combined together. So the school year is coming to an end, and this usually is a kind of symbol of that. For April, we actually did get more responses than we did previous month, which was done. So, some of the outreach worked out. And our theme is perseverance, resilience, and then special circumstances. And so we have two nominees that we are hoping to move forward. We have a second grader from Vaughn G3 campus. The student's named Xander. And Xander the application talked about how he has shown tremendous growth despite having circumstances at home and at school. He was able to kind of push through that adversity and still move forward with his academics and pushes himself towards greatness. So there's a lot of good writing in there. And then we have another 8th grader from Nueva Esperanza Charter Academy. The student's name is Bridget, and Bridget also is a highly motivated student that carries a lot on her plate and still manages to accomplish a lot. So pushes through a lot of the exhaustion, which at this time of the year, it's pretty heavy in the school side. And so I would like to put a motion forward to approve Xander and Bridget for our April San Fernando Student of the Month recipients.
Do we have a second?
Second?
And roll call, Chair Angel Zobel Rodriguez,
Yes.
Vice Chair David Govea,
Yes.
Commissioner Laurel Rodriguez,
Yes.
Commissioner Sonia Navarro,
Yes.
Commissioner Marcela Rodriguez.
That's unanimous. Thank you.
Discuss the date of when that's going to be awarded. We always shoot for the second meeting of April, and I believe I have on my calendar here, it's April 21st. Do we know if that is when the second city council meeting would be, or is it the 28th? Actually, it might be the 28th.
7th and the 21st.
Is it 21st? No, sorry, 21st.
It is the 21st.
It's 21st? Okay. I'm going to be in Northern California earlier in that day. I should be down by that time. I'm more than willing to present on this. Laurel, you have my back?
Yes, I am, David.
Okay, wonderful. All right, so we have a contingency. If not, I want to be there as well because there is another presentation we'll discuss that we'll be giving that day, which is very special. So yeah, if we can have multiple commissioners there, I think it'd be really cool. If not, I will hopefully be there. If not, Laurel will be there as a sub. So thank you, Ms. Commissioner Rodriguez, number 2. Sorry. Sorry.
Half, so I'm half.
Half. Okay, yeah, right. Okay, wonderful. And I think everything else is squared away. We're covered on the awards and everything else that we need, the certificates. Unless there's any further business, I think we're ready to move to our next agenda item.
Thank you. And next up is the Teacher Spotlight Program, which I can quickly let everyone know that there were no applications for Teacher Spotlight this month. So moving on, discussion regarding principals brunch. Do we have anything else that we need to?
There is one thing, and I just wanted to present to you the budget of what was spent. And that way you can have that in mind for the budget for the scholarship presentations. And there is a copy of it that I left on your packet. Of that, you will see that from the budget of $750, a total of $568.79 was spent, and we have $181.21 left.
Awesome.
So it seems like a pretty good projection in terms of what we anticipated to spend. And in the event that maybe our next year we have more recipients or people who are coming to our attendees, we probably keep that budget. I think it's a good number to hold on to. Buy some more food.
And I also wanted to make a note that Laurel did send an email for a letter for a follow-up to send out to the principals, which I will be reporting back. We will be sending out the letter, so I'll send it out to all of you just to kind of take a look at it, and then we will go ahead and move forward and send it out to everyone. To everyone on the list, not just the ones that attended, and then and that's going to be sent on behalf of the commission, thanking them
Thank you.
for their attendance, and then also for future events.
Any other comments about the principals brunch?
None here.
Okay. And now we are to the meat and bones, I guess. We are to discuss the discussion regarding the Student Scholarship Program. So we did not have any applications that came in the last month for Heart Bloom. We kept it open. So for this month,
I've been reflecting,
okay.
and I think there's kind of a flaw in the application regarding the, one of them is regarding the qualification of high school completion. If I direct it toward high school students, they don't have a completion yet. And if I direct it toward adults, they may or may not still have a hard copy of their completion, and it would be hard to get. So thinking about that, I'm thinking of breaking it in two, maybe Heart Bloom and Heart Blossom. Oh, you're welcome.
I know. Coral,
Oh.
Only
Hey.
because I think they're two different two
Opportunities?
different groups and qualifications. So I'm going to work on that and probably do a lot more shopping it around to
Okay.
specific populations.
Okay, so for right now, you would like me to deactivate the application then?
Mhm,
All right.
For this year.
I'm still very committed to making sure that it happens, and I'm excited
Yep,
for it. And
me
now we
too.
have blooms and blossoms, and okay. So next up, do we want to just go straight in?
Anything with that we need in terms of budget and making sure that that's kind of like reserved? Because I know you've already contributed to the scholarship fund, correct?
I have, but it also with the stipulation that whatever does not get rewarded goes into the general fund, because I believe with the amounts offered, for now, my part of the contribution should still fund it.
They're 250 each, right? There was
At this point, it's 250 each. So I don't know whether for next year, if it would be 250. I don't know about the award amount right now, but
I think we've only missed one meeting, so I mean, we've only not
That's
had
true.
one meeting, and then I think there was
Correct.
one other, but so you've donated
Yeah.
$1,000, so it's accounted
Basically,
for
yeah.
in there.
Okay.
So when we look at the budget and we're discussing it for next year, whether we use it, we
Mhm.
won't overspend because the money that we allotted for this year was already allotted based on
Mhm.
as we're going through, when we get to the other flyer, we can kind of double check it, but we're okay.
Okay, sounds good.
Thanks for asking.
Do we want to start? Or do we want to,
Yes, did you want to go over the order?
ideally, we want to go in an order that makes sense to have the least possible amount of students that may have applied for more than one, or that we award one and then, so I think
Or big to small then?
big to
Or-
small,
or
and,
small to big? Because if it's smaller,
well, then you have to keep going back. So it is.
there'll
you
be
go-
more options.
Right,
Okay.
right. If we start at the top, and we start with Jerry's Kids, let's start with Jerry's Kids, and then, since that is the largest one, it's a very specific population because of the out of the area commitment.
I also have the email that you sent regarding the order. Did you want to go in the order after that?
Is it then
So I've
Republic?
got Jerry's Kids, Republic, Unheard
Voices.
Voices, Paola Mascorro, Why Not You, Environmental Sustainability, Beyond the Bachelors, Elias
There's
Rodriguez.
no environmental sustainability.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Elias Rodriguez and Gabriel Fernandez.
Yeah. Beyond the Bachelors can go anywhere. Also, I did want to say this, since the meeting is going to be going long, if we need to take a break at any point, including staff, if anybody needs to take a 5-minute, this is still tiny compared to the city council, but we're not used to being this heavy duty, so.
Good, let's push through.
So for right now, if we pull up Jerry's Kids, this scholarship is awarded to a student who lives in the city of San Fernando, or attends or has graduated from Visa, Cesar Chavez, San Fernando, or Silmar High Schools. They have to be attending in residence a four-year college or university that is outside of Southern California. And essentially, Southern California, Wikipedia has a very, we're not supposed to use Wikipedia, but Wikipedia has a very nice description, and it's basically anything outside of Santa Barbara. So,
I do want to make mention that GK02 was found to be ineligible. After this, well, so we did leave your scores up still just to see if you wanted to reconsider. And I don't know if Angel wants to speak a little bit more on the scoring part of it.
on the points? Not on that specific one, you're talking about on the points for all of them. So we have rated these essays based on organization, mechanics, content, and language. Those four categories on a 5-point scale. Each of us has read each of the essays and then ranked the essays. So you have the total points and the ranking. The ranking can be exactly one for one, that the highest to the lowest, but sometimes an essay will speak to you in a different way, and we allow the rankings to be slightly separate in the sense they generally tend to be close to your total points. But if there's something that reached to you, even though it might not have been mechanically as sound, some of the essays will be out of order for some people. Sometimes they go straight down. So 5 is outstanding, 4 is strong, significant, 3 is good or moderate, 2 is adequate, 1 is inadequate. The organization questions are, is the essay well focused? Does it flow in a logical manner? The mechanics is the essay well written? Is there a proper word choice, structure, or grammar? Content is, did they answer the prompt thoroughly? Is there a clear idea, thesis communicated, and the examples? Last is language, and is the tone appropriate? Is there appropriate use of vocabulary for conveying their message? So for Jerry's kids, it looks like we have a clear winner. So the good news is, that means there's not a lot of discussion to go on. The only thing that I would suggest is that we move to rate them number 1 and number 2, because the eligibility for it requires that they have dictated or that they have accepted and they can show proof that they're attending school. And at this point, not everybody has finalized. So we assume, based on some of the things that they have said, that they will very likely be going to school out of town, but we want to make sure, and that will save staff a step of having to come back to us and get us to revote if we rank them as we select GK3, and that in the event that GK3 is not eligible, then the winner would be GK4.
I'd like to move that we administer the Jerry's Kids Scholarship to GK03 as our first and GK04 as our second, or backup in the event GK01 is not, 03 is not eligible.
Second.
Chair Angel Zobel Rodriguez,
Yes.
Vice Chair David Govea,
Yes.
Commissioner Laurel Rodriguez,
Yes.
Commissioner Sonia Navarro,
Yes.
Commissioner Marcela Rodriguez.
Yes.
Okay, I will reach out to the donor and make sure that he stops by with a check. Because apparently he doesn't mail it in, so I will make sure that he stops by. Okay, and then next up is Republic. Do we need to remove anybody? For sure, no? Or is it a hypothetical no? That was a real no?
No, I think these are all
Awesome.
fine.
No, I want
Yeah.
to be awesome because if we don't have to take people out, that's makes things easier.
It's closer.
Closer. Uh, hmm.
Their winner, if we just go based on numbers, we can see RSO2. I agree.
I think it's probably the first one. And she's the one, or Pause for Life has the.
Yeah, what I will say is I think the thing that made that particular essay unique to me is that we get a lot of essays about trash. We get a lot of essays about recycling. That essay was a very unique essay that talked about an entirely different perspective and how to be green. And I will say they answered the second part of that question in a way that we don't always get the second part answered. So that's why it struck me, because it was, and how would you bring that to the city? And as after talking about the thing, I think they were all good. They were really all good.
I ranked that as my second highest. It was a point difference, but looking at it from that lens, I totally can see that being my first as well.
Mhm.
I would feel comfortable with awarding RSO2 the scholarship with RSO7 as a backup.
The
I feel,
Republic.
yeah,
ahead.
I feel comfortable with RSO too, as well.
Republic is a $1,000 scholarship, and the recipient, the difficulty we usually have with this scholarship is that they must live in the city, and they must be a senior. So the pool is smaller because many of our other scholarships will have students who attend school in San Fernando, but our Republic requires that because of the contract for waste management, that they have to live within the city, so it's a smaller pool. So while it is Visa and Visa is outside of the school, Visa did a very noble thing and pulled all of the students that live within the city and made sure they were aware of which ones they were eligible for. So I really appreciate that. If we don't have any other comments or feedback, okay.
But I'd like
David?
to move that we award RSO2 as the Republic Services Chavez Scholarship recipient with RSO7 as our backup.
Chair Angel Zobel Rodriguez,
Yes?
Vice Chair David Govea,
Yes.
Commissioner Laurel Rodriguez,
Yes.
Commissioner Sonia Navarro,
Yes.
Commissioner Marcela Rodriguez.
Yes.
And Maria, can you tell us the wonderful news about Republic that
Yes, they did reach out to me yesterday, and they are very excited to participate in the event coming up. And I let him know that we will have, he wanted to know if we already had a winner. I let him know that commission was going to be meeting today and that I would send him
it was a day or two?
the information over to him. So yes, we will be getting their check as well.
We're very, very happy to know that they're on top of it as well. It'll be a few less phone calls for you. So thank you.
I believe they have a new representative, correct? That
Yeah.
is-
Yes, correct.
So Next up is Unheard Voices. This is a $500 scholarship that is directed on a topic that is for, I don't have the entire essay, I don't have the entire application in front of me, the entire form. So it's for people who are not necessarily part of the conversation, and how listening to somebody's perspective changed their point of view. So the same 1 through 5 scoring, and the same organizational mechanics, content, and language. We only had one applicant. It does look like everyone was comfortable with it. So
I will move that we award Unheard Voices Scholarship UV01 as our recipient.
Second.
Chair Angel Zobel Rodriguez.
yes.
Vice Chair David Govea. Commissioner Laurel Rodriguez.
Yes.
Commissioner Sonia Navarro.
Yes.
Commissioner Marcela Rodriguez.
Yes.
Thank you. And that money comes out of the General Scholarship Fund. Oh, no, I'm sorry, that scholarship is sponsored by Councilmember Joel Fajardo. See, it's going to be long tonight. I got it. Okay.
Good progress.
This one comes from the general fund right now. This is the Paola Mascoro Why Not You Scholarship. It is for a student with a GPA under 3.0. It has to be a C average, so under 3.0. We ask them to share their path and their challenges, and how their challenges have affected their trajectory towards higher education. We did this year allow some of the applications that were within 10% of the word total to be included, just so that we had a few additional ones that way.
So our question always comes into play, like, do we award or do we hold off? I'm more than comfortable awarding, as someone that cares deeply
I'm-
about the scholarship. I think
I
hearing
agree.
the story is the story that we like to hear. It's a story that this scholarship was designed for, and so
That's,
I would feel comfortable awarding.
Completely agree.
yeah.
Completely agree.
I think last year the comment came that we were hoping that it was the same thing. Do we want to award it or not? And of course, if this is the impetus for someone, we could be part of that path. So I'm very comfortable.
I will move that we award 01, WNY 01, Why Not You Scholarship to our applicant.
Second.
Chair Angel Zobel Rodriguez.
Yes.
Vice Chair David Govea.
Yes.
Commissioner Laurel Rodriguez.
Yes.
Commissioner Sonia Navarro.
Yes.
Commissioner Marcela Rodriguez.
Yes.
All right. The next one is Beyond the Bachelors. Beyond the Bachelors is sponsored by my family. I do know one of the people who put in their essay, so I don't want to rate any of the applicants. If you feel better, I'm happy to even hand over the gavel for this.
If you're recusing yourself,
Yeah.
officially, then go ahead and I'll.
Okay. Beyond the, I'm gonna at least explain what it is, and
Okay.
and I will shut up. Beyond the Bachelors is our scholarship for grad students. Over the years, we've had non-grad students get scholarships, and we've had grad applicants in the trying to submit for the regular essays, and we realized there was a need. So for grad students, it's $500, and based on the same kind of criteria, but it's only eligible for grad students. So. Anything else?
I believe that's good. We'll go
And
to
it
discuss.
can be grad students, it can be teacher credentials, it can be JD degrees for law school, it can be anything past the first 4 years,
What's the amount of the scholarship?
$500. Do you want me to, I'm not saying anything, but I can.
Like this.
No, I'm comfortable. I think protocol typically is you step out while we
Okay, I can
discuss,
step out.
and then-
Okay.
I mean, I can step out. It literally doesn't matter, but I can
Fine.
step out.
As we are discussing, we'll go move forward. There were 3 of the scholarships. They're all kind of comparable in my eyes. It looks like, though, the data is pretty clear on how we feel on them. So BTOB 01 as our recipient, and then BTB 05 as our runner-up in the event 01 isn't eligible. Is there any further discussion? No? Feel clear? Okay. Would anyone like to move?
So
I move
moved.
that we
Oh,
award,
she moved.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Carla.
Go ahead. I'll second.
I move that we award Beyond the Bachelor Scholarship to essay writer BTB 01. That's it.
I second.
Vice Chair, Chair Angel Zobel Rodriguez abstains. Vice Chair David Govea,
Yes.
Commissioner Laurel Rodriguez,
Yes.
Commissioner Sonia Navarro,
Yes.
Commissioner Marcela Rodriguez.
Yes.
So it is moved, and we'll go ahead and have the chair return. I can grab her.
It's not that bad. You know,
Oh, no, it's
Weird.
pretty comparable.
yeah.
All pretty good. I found this one to be the hardest one.
Oh, this one?
Yeah, yeah.
This was the hardest
It
one
was
for
in
me.
terms of like the quality.
Yeah, it was. It was the hardest one. Or and the Gabriel Fernandez too.
Is very good in here, and I don't mean that in a good way. I'm being sarcastic, but it's all right.
Mhm.
All right, are we okay? We're getting into the hard ones now.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see. You never know the data. How it shows, it might be clear. Right? It's been pretty clear up to this point. So
It's true.
Yeah.
there was a lot of them.
Yeah, that's,
A lot.
Oh, okay. It's not that bad. Look,
Oh, yeah.
it's not bad.
Hold on, let's see here. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
no.
No, it's pretty. It's
That's
kind of
exactly-
clear.
that's my
72,
ranking.
the first one. It's pretty clear.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Scholarship. This is Elias.
the scholarship is Elias Rodriguez, and the prompts, do we have the prompts on here? Yes, the prompts are either, they're personal, so it's, you were just elected teen mayor, or to share a social justice concern, or one that many of the applicants did write essays on, which is the pandemic created a sense of loss for many families this year. However, some people experienced a silver lining, and to share an unexpected hobby, memory, or other positive effects that emerged from the pandemic. So it's a $500 scholarship coming from the General Scholarship Fund.
Pretty clear on the winner, ERO3
Mm-hmm.
across the board. Ranked it pretty high.
Mm-hmm.
Feel comfortable with the second one in place as well.
Really?
ER10.
Um,
ER10. Yeah.
I have a comment.
Yeah, please.
I actually ranked ER10 slightly higher because the examples were fewer, but they were more focused.
Mhm. Yeah, I was conflicted between those two actually. But
ER03 did have, the examples were effective. Um, I think that person wrote about one example, and it was very effective. But it was causal, which is, just a note of mine. Um,
I still feel comfortable with ER03 as
Yeah.
our firstly ranked, and then I'll have ER10 as our backup.
I do too. Yeah, I still feel because it's overall everybody's favorite.
It was more compelling, I think.
Okay. I'll go ahead and move that we approve ER03 as our recipient for the Elias Rodriguez Scholarship with ER10 as our runner-up.
And second.
I'm sorry, did we get a second? Oh, okay, thank you.
Second.
Laurel, did you second that? Or no?
No,
I didn't.
Marcela.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I did.
Confused.
What's the motion? I'm sorry.
ER03 as the recipient, ER10 as our backup.
Mhm.
And Commissioner Marcela, did you second it? I thought I heard someone. Okay.
Oh,
Sorry, yes.
I
And then
did.
I heard you second it after.
Yeah. Oh, that's whoever.
Okay, sorry. I
Whoever-
just want to make the point of clarification for our minutes.
Yes.
Okay. And we are doing roll call. Chair Angel Zobel Rodriguez.
Yes.
Vice Chair David Govea.
Yes.
Commissioner Laurel Rodriguez.
Yes.
Commissioner Sonia Navarro.
Yes.
Commissioner Marcela Rodriguez.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. We are doing far faster than I thought we could possibly do. I have faith in us. I also have, there's a lot of this to do. So anyway,
I think part of it as well is the idea we can't really discuss the internals of the
yeah.
essays, and that
Oh.
previous years we did. And
Oh, now we can't.
yeah, it's
It's
mentioned
a little
earlier, like,
harder
yeah,
to
true.
video.
We can discuss the merits, but not the content in the event of.
Oh,
identifying-
that's why you were looking at me. I'm sorry. It's for life.
It's also because we now all read the essays, and at one point we only two of us read each essay,
Oh.
and that's because we were trying to avoid
I
Brown
see.
Act issues. So
Yeah, no,
we
no.
were only at two people reading each essay, but then when you're arguing the merits of your essay, it's harder to do that without explaining to someone who hasn't read it.
It's true.
So
True.
now we read a lot. We all read all the essays, and we love all the essays. So we
Wow.
want more essays. We can always have more essays. All right. This is very tiny.
Yeah.
No. No, it's not you. It's me. So
Six.
Are,
Oh,
do
yeah.
they all fit? Can we see them all? I'm trying to do the same here.
but then we lose the numbers.
See the numbers?
You guys not see them on your? Okay. Yeah.
Mm.
So you guys, can you see that on your?
Yeah, we
end?
can see it. We can see it.
I can't see the number, the identifying number though. for
Yeah.
the-
Yeah,
The GF
That's
numbers.
that's the
Yeah.
issue. Okay,
There we
that's
go.
better. That's better.
Oh, yeah.
Better.
And it goes to 29? Okay, it does. Okay, yeah. Starts at 5. Okay,
Oh,
they're
yeah.
all there.
That's strong. Easy.
18 was good.
Uh-huh.
I'm still thinking that's the one that I think stood
That
out.
okay.
Oh, yeah.
It seems like we all kind of felt. The
I
same
wrote
way.
comments.
I
yeah.
agree.
I,
Yeah.
yeah, I was
Yeah, it was beautifully written,
Oh.
personal, just
Yeah.
positive, hopeful.
Yeah. Yeah. It had an arc.
Yeah,
It had an arc. Yeah.
data supports it as well. So I would say,
You're going to just do it?
yeah, yeah. It's
You're
18.
doing a good job.
Yeah, you are.
Great job. It's going to be really easy when Tiffany goes to do the minutes.
Yeah. Yes, we have. Let's look at the second. See if there's one just in the event that maybe awarded someone.
would it
Let's see, some
Be
64.
GF17 or?
One right above is 69. I
Yeah.
don't see anything above that other than the
69's
76.
ranked pretty high too. Or what number is the 69?
That one is GF17.
That was really good too.
Which one is it?
I can't.
Oh, no, I mean, which number?
GF. Oh yeah, 17, right above.
Okay, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. Let's have that at a second. I still feel comfortable with giving the one that we were.
I do. Yeah. I did like another favorite. I had another favorite, but it wasn't everybody's total favorite, but that one GF18, yeah.
Well, it just shows too the we're kind of
It,
aligned.
it did have
with
an
our-
arc. Yeah, it was beautiful. It was
I always like to see the alignment with ours. If there's huge variances, then there's concerns. But it seems like what makes this easier today
Yeah.
is there's consensus. For
Yeah.
the most part, that higher quality.
Okay.
So I will move that we approve GF8.
I just want to confirm, just double checking. As you guys have been talking, I've actually been reviewing the names to make sure that we don't select two people for
Same one.
or
Oh.
like that we don't
Want to
double
take
up.
a 5-minute break?
not a double up.
Okay.
I remember.
Okay.
You
There
haven't
was
doubled up.
one.
I don't think you have.
Oh, well, I mean,
Well,
I'm
go ahead and
checking the
confirm.
names because
Yeah.
I know you guys didn't get the names.
Do we want to take a 5-minute break to maybe?
No, I'm just
Okay.
no, I can check it real quick. Just give me like 2 seconds.
Okay. What I can jump ahead and we can start discussing is we will need to think of the date for the event.
Oh, did
And
we make a
typically,
motion for this one?
well, she's double
Oh, she's-
checking something, so
okay,
I'm just
okay, okay.
jumping ahead in order to keep conversation
Got it,
going and
got
so we
it.
don't have dead air. May 27th would be the Tuesday we typically do that. Visa is having their open house. So that would be a bad day for both the school leaders and for the students who we have awarded some from. Also, the Friday, the 30th, is the awards night for social justice and ACE. So that would be a bad night. We don't typically do things on Friday night, but when we start getting to discuss dates, we might want to look at the Wednesday, the 28th, or the week before. Okay. Oh, we're all
Oh
good?
yeah, so yeah, we're good.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we have not duplicated?
So when is it?
There are no duplicates.
So let's put the motion back on the table so that we close out. And then, oh, and I did that to him. He's got a cookie in his mouth.
It's all right. All right.
Well, I'm about to go get one.
For the record, it was delicious. I will move that we accept GF18 as our Gabriel Fernandez Scholarship Award recipient with GF17 as our.
Second.
Okay. Chair Angel Zobel Rodriguez.
Yes.
Vice Chair David Govea.
Yes.
Commissioner Laurel Rodriguez.
Yes.
Commissioner Sonia Navarro.
Yes.
Commissioner Marcela Rodriguez.
Yes.
All right. Thank you.
Congratulations.
That was probably the fastest we've ever gone through all of the essays. That was,
System's working.
if anybody made printouts and they would like to have them, we
can
do it at
take
the end of
in-
the meeting, but we can give them to you guys to have them
I didn't
destroyed.
have any printouts.
Yeah,
Okay, if you did.
If you guys are really good on the screens, I'm just old. I need to be able
Oh.
to read.
I'm like you. I prefer hard copy, but I didn't tell her in enough time, so
Okay.
I was scrambling. No, it's my fault. I was surprised by the amount for Gabriel Fernandez. That's what I was like. Oh,
It's a lot, yes. It's a wall,
yeah,
20 pages.
yeah.
And
Did you want me to go over the numbers one last time, or are we good?
Yeah, let's do that to confirm.
I'm sorry. So we're having the scholarship on May 28th. Is that the day?
We're not yet,
Oh,
but I'm
we're
just
not
saying
there
that
yet.
we're
Okay,
not there
sorry.
yet, but normally we have done it on the Tuesday and we
Okay.
can't do that, but we'll get there. But I was just filling dead air so that people weren't looking at us just staring at each other.
I've got Jerry's Kids. The first selection is GK03 with the second being GK04. For Republic, I've got RS02 as first place and RS07 as second. For Unheard Voices, we have the one for UV01. For Paola Mascorro, Why Not You? We have the one entry. For Beyond the Bachelors, we've got BTB01 and BTB05 as the runner-up. For Elias Rodriguez, I have ER03 as number one and ER10 coming in second. And for Gabriel Fernandez, I have GF18 as one and GF17 as number two.
That is 7 scholarships.
And looks like Ace cleaned house.
Um,
Vast majority. I don't know if there's.
but there's some that are Visa too.
I think it's on the site.
Jerry's Kids is Visa. Republic is Visa. Unheard Voices is Visa.
Okay.
But then it goes Ace. It might be Ace and then Ace. Okay.
Yeah, I want to appreciate and thank those at the school site that move forward on letting students know and getting them to fill out scholarships. We know seniors have a lot of things going on. There's a lot on their plate. And so this was a definite effort on behalf of the schools to make sure that they got it done. So just thank you for the leaders at on those campuses.
And Visa asked me to go in and speak to the students, which I did, and go over all of the scholarships and which ones traditionally didn't get as many applications. And it's interesting to see some of some of the visas are in those categories. So that's exciting. And I did make that offer to other schools. So I will continue to make that offer that we have commissioners that can come speak at the schools to let them know how the scholarships work, and that some of them, if you are in one of the unique situations, that it's a lot easier to win when there's only 3 applicants than when there's 30. So, right. So next up, we do have to come up with a date so that we can start working on things like save the dates and letting people know. As I was saying, traditionally, we've done it on the date that's the Tuesday after, towards the end. But
I like the Tuesdays just because it aligns with professional development days on school sites. Yeah, and so, within that, I think, we've had a really good showing of principals who attend and support the recipients. So I would actually feel more comfortable with the week before on the 20th as our primary date, if not the Wednesday after. as our
Okay.
backup.
and I'm okay with that as well, because the other category that we always double check is the APs, and the APs are the first 2 weeks. So the third week on the 20th would be they would not be taking AP. I don't ever want to see a student come in and get a scholarship and have to run back to go study, or decide whether they're going to study or be celebrated. So the 20th, if we're comfortable with the 20th first.
I'll be out of town. I'm so sorry, on the 20th.
28th, the Wednesday. Okay. Either
mean,
way, yeah.
You guys could carry on.
Will you be available then, Laurel?
Pardon?
Will you be available on the 28th?
On the 28th, yes.
Let's do that as our primary then, 'cause I would love for,
Everyone to be there?
and we'll have our backup on the Tuesday.
Okay.
Standardized testing, CASP should be done. Everything should be done by then.
Everything should be, hopefully,
Wrap it up. Just senior nights and awards and.
that's what I did check with the schools, that I wanted to make sure. We want them all to be there, and we want their school community to be able to, the school leaders to be able to be there as well. So, also the later that we have it in the month, it's more likely that even the grad students might be home. So that's not always, if they're taking summer courses, they may not be able to, but it's always nice to give somebody the opportunity to be here rather than, well, I'm taking finals. So, do we need a motion for the dates, or can we just give?
Do we need a motion for the dates?
I would, yes.
Okay,
I would like to motion that we set our scholarship banquet for May 28th, Wednesday, as our primary, and May 20th, Tuesday, as our backup secondary.
So moved.
Chair Angel Zobel Rodriguez,
yes.
Vice Chair David Govea,
Yes.
Commissioner Laurel Rodriguez,
Yes.
Commissioner Sonia Navarro,
Yes. Second. Yes.
Commissioner Marcela Rodriguez.
Yes.
Perfect. Now, for the event, we typically create an ad hoc. In the past, you have led the ad hoc. Was that with Olivia or
It
with?
was no, Laurel actually was.
Oh, okay, okay.
Sparks behind it. I'm more than willing to join the ad hoc again. I know Laurel did take on the principal's lunch as well. I don't know if that's too much.
Not too much.
You okay with it?
Oh, yeah.
Let's rock. Let's
We're spaced out, so
Okay.
We're spacey. We're spacey. We're spacey.
not
So
literally.
I think we
but-
need a motion because that was.
Okay, so the ad hoc remains. Do we want to discuss budget? Or at least, is there anything that the ad hoc needs for us between now and April?
No, most of it's just staff discussion, preparation for kind of first initial meeting, going and seeing the site, locations.
Mhm.
I would love to keep it at Ortega.
I would strongly recommend Rudy Ortega. The amphitheater makes it really easy to present. The food can be inside, but it's a much more natural speaking space. Sonia, you were there last year.
Oh, I loved it. That was a nice location. First time there, so I agree with the amphitheater, and then the food was excellent too. Music was great, David.
That's what I did.
DJ David is fantastic. All right, so we have the ad hoc then. We will be reaching out to Republic and to Tim for the other checks. Staff, what do you need from us tonight?
I think we just needed the date, and then we're going to go ahead and work with the ad hoc to go ahead and start working on the rest of the event. So I think that's pretty much it. Thank you.
And ad hoc, if you've already got endorsements on the food from last year and everything else, keep it as close to the same, and we have a little bit extra to spend if we need to. I think we've been well under budget. Yeah. Okay. If is there anything else we need to discuss on the scholarships?
Ad hoc date.
Winners? Oh, how about thank you to staff for like the amazing work that you guys have had to do, and that includes the staff that's not here, but they're trying to go through the essays and vet who's eligible, who's not eligible. and making all the copies and making the copies into a document so that we don't have the wrong information we're not supposed to have. Um,
Yes,
we
thank you.
can't do it without you.
Thank you. And I just want to thank Nancy, our intern, did a lot of the legwork on this year. So it was a big load off of us. And then Tiffany, of course, uh, did a lot of work on it too. So thank you so much.
And then it looks like we are to item 6. David, did you want to take it?
I can take it.
Okay, perfect.
All right, everybody. So for this agenda item, I actually got a direct message from the Vice Mayor Solorio and requesting that I reach out to Mission Continuation High School because I believe she got notification from Chair that San Fernando High School's continuation, which is Mission Continuation, they received acknowledgement and award for being the first continuation school to take part in an academic decathlon. And I heard the story and I started kind of tearing up a little bit because it is a reminder, don't always judge a book by its cover, and a reminder that, you know, kids, just because paths are different doesn't mean you're not capable of achieving great things. And I say that as someone who was part of that as well. I was a continuation high school graduate and I considered at-risk youth. And, you know, before you know it, I was at UCLA and now I'm sitting here as a, you know, commissioner. So what we want to do is we want to acknowledge the participants of the decathlon, the teacher advisor, and the school for their, you know, for their award and for what they've done. And so I reached out to the principal, Miss Trinidad, and I believe we're shooting for the day of our Student of the Month presentation, the 21st. So since I'll be here, and what we want to do is we want to give each student an individual award, like we do with Student of the Month, and we want to give the school site a placard that they can hold up and show and kind of remember from the city. And although Mission technically isn't in the city of San Fernando, a lot of our residents do attend San Fernando High and Mission, and so we feel like they definitely qualify for our local acknowledgement. So I think the only approval that we need is that the frame may come out of the Education Commission budget. I don't know if that's something that we need to vote on or if that's something that just is part of our kind of normal
Yes.
business matters.
You have purchased frames before. So if you would like to put that as a motion, and then we can go ahead and make the expenditure from the budget.
Okay. So I'd like to put a motion forward that we approve spending for a frame to acknowledge Mission Continuation School for their participation in the academic decathlon.
A point of clarification, I believe, are we, is the commission asking council to put this on the agenda as a presentation?
It was the vice mayor that reached out.
Excuse me, we could go one of two ways. We could do that, do a recognition during the Education Commission's portion of the recognition of Student of the Month. Or if you want, you can recognize them here at a Education Commission meeting, and then advise council to also recognize them at a council meeting. But that's completely up to the commission.
I think acknowledging kind of how we do our Student of the Month presentation with one of the little bullet points on presentation and acknowledgements. I just think, you know, the fact that the vice mayor reached out specifically, I think the preference is to have it in a full city council meeting.
I agree.
And so
We can make an effort to be there as well. And I know at this time of year, for a family to have to come twice to receive the same award would be kind of, it's exciting, but it would be challenging to ask a family to come back twice for the same.
Yeah, I think it would be a little bit anticlimactic to come to this meeting and then the council. David, how many team members
I've
are on?
not got the list yet, but as soon as I said we're gonna have the discussion, I'm gonna email their
Okay.
staff member tomorrow.
Okay.
I believe it's smaller numbers, you know.
And I will say this.
I'm not.
Yeah, I saw the video and I think
Yeah.
there's 5 of them.
Five of
Yeah,
them,
academic decathlon, when both of my kids were in school, was something that my kids opted out of because of how many hours it requires.
Prep.
It is crazy what some of these schools, it becomes a full-time job. We know schools like Granada win, we know schools like,
I think.
not even, El Camino. It's El
Mm.
Camino and Kennedy,
Mm.
El Camino and Granada. Some of the smaller schools, because they do tier it, but even the Acadeca people recognized what a significant opportunity this was, that these kids said, sure, we're going to go in with both feet, we're going to do this. And the teacher who agreed to do it, there's history at these programs where, they're acquiring students from years of generations of kids coming to Acadeca. So when they found out about it and they agreed, let's try this, that's incredibly, I don't want to say brave, it's not brave, but it's just,
Inspiring.
it's inspiring that somebody says, sure, I'm going to give up all these hours to do this with you guys, and we believe in you. The kids did it, and it's a very small comment that they did not advance to the next level. I don't care that they didn't. It's the journey, it's not the destination, and they all get to take that with it. I did see the spectrum. I was the one that kind of sent it to the vice mayor because I cried too. So I'm really excited to see them, and I don't care where we recognize them, but I think that the continuation school. You don't need me to tell you the continuation school path is already challenging to be recognized among your peers as an equal, as opposed to continuation is a huge thing. So I would love to see the city, and I will make it a point to be there that night.
Hearing from the commission that we prefer a presentation at city council meeting. Within that
Yes.
is, do we need then to approve the budget, not from the council directly, but from our own education commission budget to pay for that frame? Or you think that's something that can be handled through administrative cost?
I think that's something that we can handle. I completely and wholeheartedly agree with everything you all said. And I think Maria and I also had a conversation about how amazing this story was, and not, just getting to that place was such an accomplishment. So I think we can handle it through our own.
But
Yes,
but
I'll figure out.
if you want to put it in the motion that if all the other options are, we're willing to put it out of the budget. So, I mean, it can come out of our budget if it needs to be. That's not it's not
Yeah, I was checking the budget and we did pay for Mr. Reza's frame.
Okay.
So we can go ahead and I think move
Okay,
forward
so-
into that and I can go ahead and get it.
Great. Great. That closes that. Unless there's any further discussion.
All right. I got so excited about being done with everything else, I put it all away.
Mhm.
Staff communication.
So just figuring that this was going to be a long meeting, we didn't prepare a lengthy presentation, but I do want to just remind everyone that we are going to be having our spring jamboree on April 19th at Las Palmas Park from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. And we're going to have an egg hunt, and we're going to have lots of different activities and foods and local artisans. So we are inviting everyone from the community to please join us. It's going to be great fun. So we hope to see you all there.
Juan, do you have any comments?
By this time, next meeting, the graduate recognition program will be open. Deadline should be around like late April. So come next meeting, I'll have all that information. And the moment I have everything finalized, I'll definitely share it with all of you so you can start spreading it as well.
Just really quick, I wanted to thank our chair for being present at the last Parent Academy, and also our mayor was there. It was again a very well attended academy. Our part-time staff was able to conduct activities with the kids while the parents learned valuable information on why it's important to for some of that push and support that foundation to start at home. They had different presenters, including our own San Fernando Police Department, an anti-gang program, and our department was also able to present information on different resources available. So just wanted to thank you, and the next one we'll send you the info. I think we've already sent the information for the next one.
It might have gone out, but I will double check. I believe it's the third Wednesday of every
Right.
month. At San Fernando Middle
We'll
School.
resend that information just in case. Thank you.
All right, so any commissioner updates before we get to agendizing? Oh. Right. And then for the agenda for the April meeting, the standard agenda, which is student of the month, teacher spotlight. Do we need to put principal's brunch on there just in case we need it? Okay, so it's the standard for student of the month, teacher spotlight, principal's brunch, scholarship, and the two presentations from Kelly Gonez and Titus Campos. So I will move that. Since I wrote it down so we don't have to guess anymore.
Do we have thoughts or just preliminary thoughts on, I don't know what to call it, a challenge that was presented to us? Whether or not we wanted to have a parent meeting with Kelly Gonez?
I believe city council is working on that.
City Council is preparing a letter that will be sent on behalf of the city. That's something that had been requested, and they're working on it as we speak. So that has already been addressed.
Okay, thank you.
I guess another comment. So the parents also presented at the city council, or would we have them present? Would we be open to have them present? Or is that not necessary, I guess?
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question?
I guess the parent offered to present their findings, as opposed to what, is going on in the district. So I would be open to having them present here, but I don't know if they've already done that at city council, I guess.
The parent that made the public comment today has been a constant at city council meetings, and she has presented and distributed same information that the commission got today.
And I do want to make a note, as the speaker did mention, she did send an email. It was sent out to the city clerk, and she included me. So I have forwarded that to you already. So you should have that in your emails.
Okay, do we want to add anything else to the agenda then? Do we want to have a presentation? Or? It's, that's.
I don't.
Right. If it's already there, then I think that's the best place for it to be.
I think so.
Yeah.
The venue is bigger. It's, city council certainly is, they're the main organization. They appoint us.
All right, so then it's the agenda so far is the student of the month, teacher spotlight, principal's brunch, scholarships, and the two presentations. I moved it. We need a second. Thank you, Dave.
Chair Angel Zobel Rodriguez,
Yes.
Vice Chair David Govea, Commissioner Laurel Rodriguez,
Yes.
Commissioner Sonia Navarro,
Yes.
Commissioner Marcela Rodriguez.
Yes.
All right, it's unanimous, and at that point, we are adjourned. That's really